Nikita, you might want to begin speaking since we are already live.
Welcome to meeting number 197 of Turning Point Toastmasters. I am Nikita, your Sergeant at Arms for today. At Toastmasters, we provide a supportive and positive learning experience in which members are empowered to develop communications and leadership skills, resulting in greater self confidence and personal growth. You are now inside the code of conduct of Toastmasters meeting. Please be advised that this meeting is being recorded and that it may not be possible to pause the recording. Please also be advised that any behavior that disrupts the flow of this meeting will result to removal without any warning. Please ensure that all your noise making devices are on silent mode or either switched off. You have 5 seconds to check that. Please speak responsibly on religion, sex, and politics in your speeches. As far as possible, keep your videos on, audios off, and applause flowing throughout. Be the kind of audience that you would want to have for yourself. Toastmaster of the day, table topic master, and general evaluator. Please ensure a smart audio and video check before handling over to any speaker. Role players, please rename yourself prefix as the role that you're playing and suffix from any external club you belong to. We encourage you to use the Zoom emoticons generously and encourage the role players. We sincerely request you to not indulge in chat messages, especially when a speaker is on stage. Reiterating, please stay on mute until asked otherwise. Polls will be launched after each section and they will be closed shortly after. Now, I'd like to introduce the presiding officer of Turning Point Toastmaster, who has been the backbone for this club and has taken the club to greater heights in his presidency. Please welcome Eunice Katnoria.
Thank you, Toastmaster Nikita, our diligent silent at arms, for that wonderful starting to the meeting. And you not only told us what to do, but how to be a better audience. So kudos to you. And with that, I would like to start this meeting. So first of all, welcome to all and everyone who has joined us today. So we are getting inching very so close to our 200 meeting, and that's a very that's a thing we as a club are very excited for. But as they say that every pillar needs to be in place for the building to be strong. So every meeting is a pillar towards that milestone, and today is no different. So let's start with uh, acknowledging some people who always are an important part of our Turning Point Toastmaster meeting. Yes, I'm talking about the guests who have joined us today. So I will right now just name out the people who have joined us today, and later maybe in the table topic section as well as the feedback section at the end, you can give your introduction and feedback for the club. So today we have our last time guest who was performed very well in the last time table topics. Jim, Toastmaster Jim has joined us. And we also have Abhishek Devraj joining us again after a long time. So welcome back, Abhishek. We have Umang Bansal joining us. And we also have Roli Sinha with us today. And I think I have covered everyone, but in case I have not, I will definitely get back to you in the later sections of the meeting. With this, I would also like to acknowledge a few more people. So over the last few weeks, our Turning Point Toastmaster membership team has been doing a wonderful job. And it is to their credit that we have a lot of new members joining the club today. So I would like to name the members who have joined us in the last 1 or 2 weeks, and like to welcome them to the club. We have Ayushi Kumari who has joined us, and Urfia Abdul has joined the club. Manisha Sabharwal has joined us, Toastmaster Manisha Sabharwal. Toastmaster Parmita Dey has also joined us. She is also with us today. Welcome to the club, Parmita. And we also have Samriddhi Garg who has joined us. So all of them are not in the meeting currently, but on the behalf of entire club, I would like to welcome them to the club. So now, taking and one more major announcement for this week. So one of our members, Toastmaster Gayatri Deshmukh, who is also playing our counter for today, has been making the presence of this club felt at an international level. So in the last in the last few weeks, she has been going as a test speaker for multiple clubs. So just a minute. Yeah. So she received a certification from from District 109 for being a test speaker at their area evaluation contest. So kudos to Gayatri for making us proud again. And with that, let's start the business for today. So today I'm very excited session, and one of the reasons, one of many reasons for that is our Toastmaster of the day. He was our former PR, and he took the PR, the term PR in Toastmaster to a whole new level. And in the duration of PR, the standard he set for today. A very funny man. If you listen to his speech, you will realize that. But today is our team out. Though his theme is making me sad, but I will let him take over and explain to you what he really means by that. So over to you, Toastmaster of the day, Toastmaster Anshuman Mishra.
Good evening, fellow Toastmasters. Welcome to another exciting meeting, and yes, my last meeting today. So when I got married, I asked my mentor, Rupinder, distinguished Toastmaster Rupinder, how can I balance things out? How can I balance work, Toastmasters, Turning Point Toastmasters, and life? Rupinder clearly said, "Beta, tumse na ho payega." And one of the movie, like famous dialogue movies, which for the audience, it means Anshuman literally won't be able to manage it. You won't be able to do it. You'll have to leave one of it. So leaving marriage was a difficult choice. I can't do that. Work, since I have to feed at least myself, I can't do that. So unfortunately, it's going to be TPTM, which has to be the culprit of this entire juggle that I'm doing in life. So yes, today unfortunately is going to be the last day. I'm going to trouble you all with my verbosity. At the same time, I'd like to take this opportunity to recap all that I've learned through Turning Point Toastmasters. And definitely, it's the people of Turning Point Toastmasters which makes it the wonderful community it is, where I have been coming back week on week for over 2 years now. We'll definitely want to recall every contribution each one of us has made to this community through the evening journey today. So first of all, in terms of advantages, some of the clear advantages are definitely, as Toastmasters preamble states, it's a mecca for learning leadership and public speaking. So when I joined Turning Point Toastmasters, I definitely was not confident about my speaking skills. My hands used to tremble. I could not even walk on the stage, let alone cover it left to the right, front to the back, all the feedback that I've got over the period of time. But slowly but steadily, with all the mentors and peers I've encountered across Turning Point Toastmasters, I've become a better speaker. One of the favorite memories I had at the beginning was that I had to present to a global audience at my company, and I was very scared. And what I did is I prepared that speech, gave it a Turning Point Toastmasters, got very relevant feedback from my mentor Bhuvan, from Rupinder, from Anand, and somehow I developed that confidence to present it to a global audience. And in that evening party, I'm not kidding, it was one of the highlight discussions for the evening, that everyone was talking about that speech and how I presented wonderfully. And that was about the beginning. We'll talk about the journey as we go on. But before we get into that, let me explain to you what a Toastmasters meeting is composed of. It is composed of 3 sections. The first one is the prepared speeches section, where the folks through pathways section get to prepare a speech beforehand and present. Then we have the table topics section, where the guests and the Toastmasters get to practice their impromptu speaking skills and get their appropriate evaluations. Last but not the least, you get to see the mirror and you get to have feedback about the roles and the speeches you presented today. And to help me head that section is our general evaluator for the day, distinguished Toastmaster Rupinder. When I asked Rupinder about his favorite memories of Turning Point Toastmaster, the first one he mentioned is the meeting number 125. Meeting number 125, whoever has attended it, has been one of the pinnacles of Turning Point Toastmaster. And he rarely says it, but he mentioned that that it was a day when everything went right. That's a rarity coming from him. And second one, before Turning Point Toastmasters was Turning Point Toastmasters, it was called Tough Speak Toastmasters. And in Tough Speak, he mentioned that the day when we were placed third in evaluation humorous speech contest, I think that is the day he remembers fondly. I'd like to invite him to the stage to introduce the evaluation section. Over to you, General Evaluator, distinguished Toastmaster.
Thank you very much, Anshuman. I'm glad you're following my advice. You're letting go of one thing in your life. All the best for your future. Before I continue, ladies and gentlemen, let me remind you that Anshuman Mishra works for Google. Now, if you can figure that out, what do I mean by that cryptic clue that I just gave you, then you should be able to figure out what the rest of the meeting is about. But enough of about Anshuman. I don't like to talk much about him, especially because he's leaving. And a little bit more about me and specifically my role. I'm the general evaluator for today. As general evaluator, my task is to mentor and to monitor the meeting. And as such, I have a team of evaluators and role players to help me out. I will be evaluating each role player against their objectives. I have speech evaluators who will help me evaluate speeches. And today we've got two wonderful speech evaluators in Soumya and Sonali. I will call them on stage in due course to present their evaluations. But in Toastmasters, we treat communication as the cornerstone of leadership. And we require that our communication is concise, clear, and correct. To help us make our communication concise, we have a role player called the timer. And the timer will helps us keep it concise by ensuring that your speeches are limited to a specific time. Our timer today is our president, Toastmaster Unique. Let me just spotlight him for a bit. Thank you. Unique is going to ensure that you people finish on time. Typically, a prepared speech is from 5 to 7 minutes. Unique will be showing time using a combination of cards. He will be sharing his screen. At green card, it will mean that you've qualified for the minimum time. At yellow card, it will mean that you've qualified at the median time. And at the red card, it will mean that it is a good time to wrap up because you've got just 30 seconds. Typically, prepared speeches are 5 to 7 minutes with a 30-second grace on either side. The green, yellow, red happens at 5, 6, and 7, respectively. Table topics is 1 to 2 minutes. Green, yellow, red at 1, 1.5, and 2 minutes, respectively. And speech evaluations are 2 to 3 minutes. Green, yellow, red at 2, 2.5, and 3 minutes, respectively. In table topics, you have a 30 seconds grace on the upper side. In evaluation, you have a grace on both the sides. Moving on, our second role player today is Guy. Oh, before I move on, one of the unique memories that I have about Unique is that meeting number 125, where he was literally that role player in the background who was ensuring that every T was crossed and every I was dotted. He really came of age in that particular meeting. Let's have a round of applause for Unique. Before I call on our second role player, which is the R counter, who will help us keep everything clear, and that is Gayatri Deshmukh. Filler words are like the impediments in our communication. Filler words such as you know, I know, basically, acidically. Acidically is not a filler word. That I just said is a filler word. Gayatri will be diligently keeping a track of all of those filler words. And those of you who don't know Gayatri will get to know her very soon. And those of you who know that she just was a test speaker in an in an international arena. Let's have a round of applause for her. And finally, our grammarian for today. There was a term in the 80s. They were called the Young Turks. They were the people who were the change makers. And one person who challenges everything is Shori Chauhan. He is immensely inspirational. He's going to help us keep our communication correct. And he is going to be our grammarian for today. As grammarian, he's also supposed to introduce the word of the day, and he gets his chance to speak now.
Thank you, General Evaluator. The word of the day for today is plethora, which means a large or excessive amount of something. I encourage all the speakers to use this word today. And on this bittersweet farewell meeting for Toastmaster Anshuman, who is also my mentor, I do hope that we can make a plethora of great memories to remember this day by. Back to you, General Evaluator.
Thank you very much, Shaurya. I will say that Anshuman's departure does create a plethora of problems for us, but I always say that people should never leave. They should go somewhere. I'm pretty sure that Anshuman is going somewhere with this. Once again, what I said earlier, he works for Google. Back to you, Anshuman.
Thank you, distinguished Toastmaster Rupinder. I think you're referring to plethora of happiness you're going to get through the happy world I create for you. Anyhow, moving to the next section, we have the prepared speeches section. And let us now begin with the speeches. Our first speaker, Arunima, is attempting her icebreaker speech, which is the level 1, project 1 speech from the dynamic leadership module. Before I call her on the stage, I'd like to invite her evaluator, Toastmaster Soumya, to read out her speech objectives. Over to you, Toastmaster Soumya.
Thank you, Anshuman. Arunima is giving her icebreaker speech today. The objective of her speech is to introduce the audience to herself. I wish Aruna all the very best for her speech.
Thank you, Toastmaster Soumya. And Arunima is a very recent member of Turning Point Toastmaster. And when I asked her that what is her favorite memory of Turning Point Toastmaster, she mentioned that when she came for the first time as a guest and she won the table topics. So definitely that must be a very precious memory. And today she'll be building another precious memory of becoming the icebreaker speaker. Arunima, don't judge me. Don't judge me, Arunima. Over to you.
Jobs fill pockets. Adventure fills soul. Good evening, fellow Toastmasters and dear guest. Travel is like a therapy for me. Whatever the mood is, gloomy or happy, travel is my escape. Since early childhood, I love to travel new places, explore new things and people. This has been since I started traveling. I love to explore new places. For me, one word that describes well is random. I grew up somewhere between being random, as I don't believe in planning things. I am a person who would always love to take risk. As you say, higher the risk, higher the return. But taking the risk capacity made me what I am today and stands in front of you as a powerful person. Taking risk not only restricts to my personal life, but also to my professional life. I have been a risk taker. I remember my first day at my current organization, Innisfree India, when I asked my director if I have the opportunities to grow along with the company. His weird expressions thinking if he is director or not. This does not restrict only to my professional life but also to my educational life. Hence, the profession chartered accountancy. I choose the profession because I feel you never stops. This course does not give you an end. Every day you wake up with a new notification where you get lot more to learn, unlearn and relearn. When I say my profession, I choose this because I come I come from a finance background and numbers have always been my favorite. Being numbers my favorite, making the financial statements became the favorite part of my work life. You know why I like making balance sheets? Any guesses? Because throughout my life, I had been an irresponsible child as told by my parents each day. My mom never felt that I could be a responsible person until one day when I drafted the balance sheet. That time I realized the importance of a balanced life when making assets equal to liabilities took me 3 days. That time I realized the importance of balanced life. And now I like to have balanced life with everyone. For me, in my personal life, the assets are my loved ones and liabilities are my emotions. The perfect blend of emotions with my loved ones make the life worth living for. Also, I have been a voracious traveler. Since I got over my school, I had been traveling because I don't feel that I belong to a one particular place. I feel that life is short and world is wide. I have lot more to explore. After finishing off my school, the only thing I realized the book I wanted to run out of pages was my passport because that is the only constant. I like to travel in my life because being with same people, same set of work environment, same set of environment gives me boredom. The only constants in my life after traveling is my family. Otherwise, I am not very much into the people. Although I am a people's person, but that does not mean that I don't want to be attached to people. It's just that I like to explore new people, new things, new hobbies, and new ideas. Here I stand with you, made up of my past experiences, hoping to share the future experiences with you all. Please don't judge me. Over to you, Toastmaster of the day.
As is the tradition, request us all to stand and give a standing ovation to Arunima or whatever is comfortable in your virtual stage.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot for that fantastic speech, Arunima. Welcome to the Icebreaker Speech Givers Club, if there exists one. Request us all to take 1 minute to give feedback to Arunima in our private chat. Meanwhile, Nikita will like to do an audio video check.
Yeah, sure. Can you hear me?
Yep.
Okay.
Nikita, this is a good background. You are visible and audible. Guests, may I request, if it is possible for you, please switch your videos on throughout as much as possible because we are taking screenshots candid shots, as well as it is a direct encouragement to the speaker on stage. You would be a speaker very soon in table topics as well.
And thank you for joining, Julia. So, really glad to have you in a little big club. Coming to the second speech. Our second speaker, Nikita, is attempting her level 3 project 1 speech from the leadership development path. Before I call her on the stage, I'd like to invite her evaluator, Toastmaster Sonali, on the stage to read out her speech objectives. Over to you, Toastmaster Sonali.
Thank you, Anshuman. I am very sad to see you go, first of all. So I am sad, but I have to make a happy face just for the camera. I am going to evaluate Nikita's speech today. The purpose of this project is for the member to practice developing a plan and bringing that plan to fruition. The member can share some aspect of planning and implementation of his or her small scale project. Looking forward to hear your speech, Nikita. All the best. Over to you, Anshuman.
Thanks a lot, Sonali. A seasoned Toastmaster and TPT and Sergeant at Arms, Nikita is a friend from Nepal with a background in commerce and economics from SRCC. And I asked Nikita about her favorite memory about Turning Point Toastmasters. Nikita mentioned that like the first time she came, the theme was music, and we had a live singer play for us. And that, I think, I remember that the theme was by me and got Rupin to play, for which I got a huge scolding from Rupinder. But Rupinder, see what had happened. And thus she had decided to join Turning Point Toastmasters thereafter. So definitely. One learning there for me was keep self-confidence even if you get a lot of scolding from Rupinder. Anyhow, Nikita, would you go on a trip with me? Would you go on a trip with me, Nikita?
Show your hands if you love traveling. Now I know Arunima loves to travel, but anybody else? Show your hands if you love to travel in a group. Now the last question, show your hands if you love to plan out the itinerary for your group travels. Oh, I see few people and I think they deserve like special applause, especially from my side. Pico Iyer once said, we travel to open our eyes and hearts and learn about the world, then our newspapers will ever accommodate. And we travel, in a sense, to be young fools again, to slow time down and get taken in and fall in love once more. To travel is such a beautiful thing, my fellow Toastmasters and dear guests. To travel is to roam around and visit the famous places, to go to the museums and monuments and walk on the famous street, eat the famous food, or simply just stay in your It gives me the freedom to be who I am and do completely what I like. Now, that doesn't mean I'm antisocial. I realized that when I went to travel for the first time solo, and I got into the bus with a bag full of excitement, and 3 hours later, I'm calling my friend saying, dude, what have I done? Why didn't you stop me? This is the worst mistake of my life. To which my friend replied, Nikita, you've always wanted to do this. Just take a deep breath and go. Thanks for the little pep talk. I did go forward with it. And 10 hours later, I was having the best time of my life. But you know what's the best thing about traveling alone? That you don't friends thinking what your next adventure will be like. You meet people, you go to explore the cities with them if you like them, and if not, you bid them goodbyes without any grudge. It's that easy. Now, the second type of travel is when you're traveling with your friends and family. Now, I'm not a big fan of this group, not because I do not like my friends and family, but because to decide whether to take taxi or to walk from hotel to the bus stop is a trip in itself. There's a little bit of compromise from their end, a little bit of compromise from my end, and there you go, a great trip. And then the last one is when you give all your money to this person who has an itinerary and you just follow without any question. So in college, I was the co-president of the Travelers Society. Now, as the name suggests, all we ever did was make friends and travel around. But being the co-president, I was also responsible to plan out the trips for college folks thrice a year. Now, you may think that this is an easy job, but let me remind you, planning a trip for college kids, they do all sorts of crazy. And anything is not according to them, they would flip. For a trip as short as 3 days to Ranthambore from Delhi, I had to plan for 20 days straight to make sure everything works out. To plan this, I'd usually divide my time into 3 segments. My first segment is 60% of my time to what I call is Kashtprad, that is, which translates to philanthropa of research. You know how they say, he who does not research has no outcome? It is important to do your research, and travel is no less. To understand your roots, to understand your race, cost, stays, nearby places, bus stands, where to eat, what to do. My first step is always to do research to make better decisions. My next step, that is 30% of my time, is what I call is sardardi, which translates to negotiation and execution. Here, I call different people like tour travels, stays, hostels, travel guides, trek guides to understand, give them my requirements, understand their codes, and grab the best deal, give it to my members, show it to my team, and make sure everybody is happy and ready to pay. Now, my last step, which is 10% of my time, which I believe is the most important one, is Bhagwan Bharose. That is praying to the Lord. Praying to the Lord that the bus driver is on time, praying to the Lord that somebody is not left out while going to the loo and did not inform us, praying to the Lord that college kids do not get drunk enough to do extremely crazy things, or praying to the Lord that I safely get home with all 80 of them. But remember when I asked you that who loves planning the itinerary? I don't know if you noticed or not, I had my hands up and it was high to touch the sky. Because as much trouble it is to find the perfect things to do and coordinate with travel and stay and transport and what to do, what not to do, and members. The best part is how after every trip, at least 20 people come to me and tell me, Nikita, that was so well planned. Thank you. And that feeling of travel changing me and them as human and making me and them more compassionate and kind and loving towards nature and people is the sole reason why I'll keep doing this again and again. Thank you.
Please take 1 minute to give feedback to Nikita for a wonderful speech. Timer, please let me know when 1 minute is over. Presuming it's over. Request the tech master to launch the polls for the best speaker between Nikita and Arunima.
Since I am using my laptop as Trackmaster, Rupinder, I will be launching the polls and I will be closing them as well. We are closing the polls in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Closing.
Thank you, Toastmaster. Now we'll assemble for a group free. Request everyone to please open their respective videos so that Haritika can take a group fee for all of us. Julia, Sonali, Zoe, Carolina. I don't know, you should like at least open your video. It's your special day, so Icebreaker Speech today. Anyhow, Arunima, you are ready.
Selfie taken. Selfie taken.
All right. Cool. Last, perfect. Thank you. Last but not the least, we have our sister meeting on Sunday happening every Sunday 1:30 p.m. And I like to request our president Toastmaster Eunice to share the announcement for this evening. Over to you, Eunice. You're on mute, Eunice.
So I hope my screen is visible to all of you.
Yes.
So yeah, so on Sundays we are very excited. The club is growing successfully and almost into a whole new club entirely. And kudos to the Sunday team for that. And this Sunday we are having a joint meeting with Great Lakes Gurgaon Toastmasters Club. So invite you all there. And this is a sneak peek for the meeting. And if you want to know more, do RSVP the number mentioned. I will share the details of the concerned people in the chat window as well. And so see you on Sunday. Over to you, Toastmaster of the day.
Thank you, Toastmaster Eunice. Request us all to join us on Sunday because those meetings are as special as this one. Moving on, now we have a special pathways session from distinguished Toastmaster Anant. Anant is a super mentor, veteran Toastmaster, supreme storyteller, entrepreneur, corporate trainer, all rolled into one. And I asked Anant about his favorite memory of Turning Point Toastmasters. It was the international speech contest he won at Turning Point Toastmasters with his wife present in the audience. I still remember that day. Even I happened to give it a shot after like 2 months into TPTM, which was like quite a funny moment for me. However, like listening to Anand's speech, Priyanka's speech, Rupinder's speech, I think that day I vividly remember. And I remember Anand's wife being in the audience and cheering for him getting the trophy. I hand over the stage to you, distinguished Toastmaster, for the Pathways monthly session number 2. Over to you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Anshuman. For the benefit of everyone across the oceans as well as the in-house audience, we have starting with the last month, we have initiated an idea that why don't we have a pathways related Q&A session, tips and tricks and all those things publicly at least once a month. Maybe for just brief 8 to 10 minutes. So timer, please show me signals at 8, 9, and 10 minutes. Now, the idea behind the session was all about bringing those conversations which were happening in silos, different mentors having their different interpretations, people at different level of pathways, the online education, digital learning curriculum of Toastmasters International. So why don't we have a parity, a consistency around across all the members as well as those esteemed guests who choose to join us? So to benefit all of them, this session was conceptualized. Every first Thursday of every month, we are having this session. Today is session number 2. So in the last session, we covered how to submit your request and how do I approve as a VP Education those requests just on my fingertips. I will give that demo today as well. But at the same time, I will also invite Samriddhi, Paramita, and those who have joined us very recently, this yesterday itself, and today onwards, they are full-fledged members. Boys and girls, you have to start taking the full benefit out of Pathways. How? Don't just deliver your speeches just like that. Learn how to deliver a speech, read a meticulously crafted education curriculum, and this is how you can do it all. So let's say this is how Toastmasters.org, the website, official website would look like. All you have to do is log in into the system. If you are joining for the very first time, all you have to do is click on the button login. You may not be aware of your password immediately. So what do? You click on forgot password, reset your password. Since I have done it already, I'll simply log in. And would anyone kindly unmute and tell to access Pathway, where do I go?
Pathways, base camp.
Exactly. So for the first time, those who are joining, who have become a member for the very first time, this is how you select your path. Click on Pathways, choose a path. Now, there are a few steps involved which are pretty consistent across all the learning management systems across the world. To pick your curriculum, remember this free path. First path is free for you. Second path onwards, you will have $20 to pay. So if you pick your first path, you simply continue on, choose a path for yourself or for another member like that. Continue to path selection for your own self. You will be prompted by these two choices, whether you want a digital Pathways edition or a printed material. Since we are not living in US and most of us are tech savvy, at least we are joining in these current times using a digital device. So why don't we go for digital, save extra $25? And we do these two things, either of these two things. Since you are a first-time member, I encourage you to go and take an assessment. The moment you click and take assessment, you would be prompted with a series of about 40-45 questions. These will help you to select which path would suit your professional and personal needs out of the available 11 ones. There are paths ranging from dynamic leadership to visionary communication to engaging humor to presentation mastery. There are more than 300 skills that you can learn. A combination of those are available under each path. So let's say you picked your path, you took your assessment, it recommended you 3 paths. Now that recommendation aside, you can either pick one among those 3 recommendations or you can pick whatever path you want. These 11 options will you have available for yourself. Any one of them, if you pick, since I have already picked a couple of them, it is showing that I already have these paths available with me. I can't pick them up once again before I finish them once. Strategic relationship, if I pick and I continue. Now, if you are a first-time member and you are having this path for the very first time, it is your free path by the virtue of your membership. You will not be prompted beyond the step for a $20 fees. It will simply get credited to your pathways. Otherwise, for people like me, people like Rupinder, Gayatri, others who have been here from the last cycle, it will generate a payment receipt. For now, I will leave it to you. If you have any further question, you can ask me on this point. Now, where in Pathways we go then? If you have chosen a path, you click on go to base camp. Just like Mount Everest, the journey start not from the top or somewhere in the middle, but from the base camp. So your base camp journey starts with this second pillar where you can click on go to base camp. You will not get this login as base camp manager option since you are not a president, VP ad or secretary. Go to base camp, Samriddhi and Paramita and other new members, please pay attention. The moment you click on here, you have some self-help videos available, which will help you understand how to navigate all these. In case you are still struggling a little bit, the first point of contact is your mentor, which we will shortly allocate. Beyond that, I as VP Education or my VP Education team will help you out. Your path, however, would get listed something like this. You can simply click on it, access any levels, read any material, including the very first speeches, which Arunima delivered today as an icebreaker. The moment you click on it and launch it, follow the instructions. This is how you can navigate your paths. Well, this is how you can take your first few steps and not struggle how to deliver your first speech. Having said that, there are a few things more. What if once someone completes a path, I get a base camp related notification triggered and received in my email? This is how I can actually approve these requests. This particular month, I have received these requests from two of the members. Ladies and gentlemen, it is my privilege to provide to you the members who have completed their respective levels. Surjit and Gayatri. Can we have a round of applause for both of them? Can we have a round of applause for both Surjit and Gayatri? These are the requests that I will receive just like that, and I will approve just like that. Abhishek, who was already recognized for this request in the previous meeting, but he wasn't available. He is not present here today as well. With just a click of a button, I will approve these requests just like that. I will do the same for the other three requests as well. But can we have a round of applause for Abhishek, Surjit, and especially for Gayatri for completing 2 levels of 2 different paths? Well, that's it about my presentation on Pathways Q&A for this month. We will connect again for some more in-depth session next week. But for now, next month. But for now, I leave the floor open for any random questions that might be bugging you. I might not be able to answer it. In that case, I will note it down and come prepared the next meeting. Any questions whatsoever? Yes, please, Jim.
I have the PDF of the evaluation form, and I understand there's some folder that I can store this PDF evaluation
Of course.
form on. Yeah.
Yes.
How is that? Where is that?
So the way it works is like this. You go to your paths, your learnings, or rather the Pathways homepage. I will guide you directly from there. Now, let me click directly on the homepage of Toastmasters International. From there, it will be much more relative. The moment I click on go to my options that I have available as an individual member are these. Go to Basecamp, etc., etc. Now, this navigator will cover one of the points that you made. In case you don't know how to navigate that, the navigator will help you out. But other than that, let me give you a direct shortcut. In your Basecamp, this is where you can access any evaluation project. At the same time, in my documents, you can upload any document that you have available. In my documents, you can actually upload your evaluation forms received from your respective evaluators, and you can trigger a notification to VP Ad in case the club demands to see these evaluation forms being uploaded as a verification in case you have delivered it outside your club. The moment you click on My Documents, you can actually see I have uploaded for one of my previous parts a few documents covered under these folders. And let's see if I can show you for the level 1 all documents that I had submitted. This is how I have named them and submitted them. So my VP Education or my Basecamp managers can see that. Even I can refer to them at any point of time. Paramita, a quick question from you as well. Jim, I hope I have answered your question over here.
So yeah, as I'm seeing that there are certain level. So is there any tenure to pass, like pass that level as well?
So the beauty of Toastmasters is it is a self-managed, self-volunteered, and self-paced program. I delivered my first icebreaker after 2 years. Well, not a good example to emulate, but the point is you can schedule your first icebreaker speech within next, let's say 2 weeks with me or with Nimit or any member of the education team. Or you might want to take some time, craft a good speech with your respective mentor. But then your journey is within your own hands. The more you leverage these opportunities, the better. Paramita, we can definitely connect one-on-one more on this since the time is, my timer card is red already. Ladies and gentlemen, please feel free to connect with me afterwards. I hope this session has been a little bit of value add for you. Over to you, the dynamic and the the person who is saying goodbye to us, the dynamic Toastmaster of the day, Anshuman.
Thank you, distinguished Toastmaster ML, for that very helpful pathway session for all of us. Request is to give feedback to Anant in chat and pad. However, in the interest of time, I'll continue with the theme. Please do keep on sharing feedback with Anant while we take forward this journey. So I remember one of the days at my company, I and my manager were moved from one org within the company to another. And I was quite concerned that the culture in my current org was amazing. The people were amazing. The manager was quite mature. He had quite a good vision. And I was quite concerned that in the new org, the culture might be a bit different than the previous one. And I might not get the space and the time to execute what I wanted to execute. And I still remember there's one thing he mentioned which sticks to me till date. He told me, Anshuman, it is you and I who will create that culture. And that was quite powerful for me because I felt culture exists outside. But then I realized I and my manager and all of us together make that culture. And that is something true about Turning Point Toastmasters, that it is you and I and all of us creating the wonderful culture at Turning Point Toastmasters that we have been able to create till date. And I have quite a few memories with quite a few members, and I won't have time to record all of them, but I can give quick snippets, one or two of them of what that means. So for example, Toastmaster Sonali, I'll make you privy to what happens behind the scenes while these meetings are going on. Gossips galore. You can't even imagine what is being talked about you behind your back while these meetings go on. All of you get dissected to the level you won't even imagine. Our WhatsApp group is bubbling with so much energy. However, in all the positive spirit. So it was during the EC time when we joined EC last year, and I especially was taking time to adapt to the culture within the EC. I think Sonali really helped me adapt to it by the positive gossips that I used to do. Besides definitely being a wonderful orator and coming from part theater background, I think I always looked up to her in terms of how she presented herself. And one of the improvements that she had told me, and we have taken the journeys of her ahs and ums, that the filler words that she used to have at the beginning. We still used to joke that when she joined Turning Point Toastmasters, like she used to break world records of filler words that used to be there in her speech. And look at today, I think there have been reports where those filler words have also been zero. So that's a journey I've taken with her. I'll recall more such memories with the fellow TPTMers. For now, we'll move on to one of the most interesting sections, which is the impromptu speaking section, the table topic section for the day. And to take that forward, we have the cheerful, lovely, smiling Haritika to take it forward. When I asked her that what is her favorite memory of Turning Point Toastmasters? So first of all, she mentioned that every moment at Turning Point Toastmaster mesmerizes her. But to be specific, when she joined Turning Point on Sunday for the first time, she was given a table topic which she was able to barely speak for 20 seconds. But then Rupinder sir, Anant and Gayatri motivated her, and rest she says that we know. I don't know, but I guess a lot of us privy to it. No, like I know that Haritika is an amazing speaker, and I'd like to invite her to take forward the next section. Over to you, Haritika.
Thank you, Anshuman, Toastmaster of the day. I welcome you all to the table topic session. That is the most amazing session of any Toastmasters meeting. And here the members who have not got a chance to speak are given the chance, and also the guests are given a chance to speak here today. So first, let me tell you the timing. The timer will be for 1 to 2 minutes. Timer will show green card at 1 minute, yellow card at 1 minute and 30 seconds, and the red card at 2 minutes. And the topics will be related to Toastmasters today, farewell, and obviously 1st April. So I would like to call the experienced member first. And can we have you, Roli Sinha?
Yes, sure. Tell me.
Roli Sinha, your favorite mentor in Toastmasters. Your favorite mentor in Toastmasters, Roli Sinha.
My favorite mentor has to be my first mentor when I joined Toastmasters. He's not a Toastmaster at the moment. His name is Chauhan. And he's a lawyer. So, of course, he did not crave for words to come to his rescue when I was mercilessly teasing him. It also helped that both of us are extremely thick-skinned when it comes to ribbing, and all the rivalry that used to go on between us became legends. People used to keep scores that who has actually defeated the other person. And to this day, we have not been able to determine for sure who has won. He guided me in a plethora of ways. It was incredible the way his knowledge was expansive. It was unique. He had everything to share. He had an opinion on everything. And he was simply a nonconformist, just like I am. A brilliant contrarian and a brilliant orator. He went all the way to the district for the table topics. And I'm very glad that I got a chance to speak about him and the way he's impacted my life outside Toastmasters and my journey during Toastmasters in a table topic. This speech is definitely dedicated to Chauhan. Thank you, Hritika.
Thank you, Roli, for sharing your favorite mentor with us and your memories with him. Okay, the next topic for Gaurav. Would you like to take the next topic?
Sure.
Okay. Gaurav Singla, the farewell that made you cry. The farewell that made you cry, Gaurav Singla.
Thank you. Farewells. Farewells. Bidding goodbye to your loved ones. Bidding goodbyes to the people you spend time with. In everyone has some farewell to be associated with. We all went to schools, colleges, and there we have seen that we had to bid goodbye to the people we love the most, and the memories we have with them were uh, all all have changed because we have bid farewells. uh, for me, the hardest farewell was during my college, when I have to bid farewell to all my friends who were with whom I have cherished all the moments during 4 years of my graduation. It is not just my my classmates or my college mates, but majorly my hostel mates, because I have stayed in hostel for 4 years with my friends. And when after 4 years you come to know everything has come to end, it's very tough to say goodbye. But as life moves on, you stay connected. And as in Toastmasters, we see we are connected through virtual medium, and same goes for other things. So it's never a farewell. It's never a farewell for anyone, because you ultimately get in connect with the people who matter the most. Maybe by your by through virtual meetings, or by uh, over the phone, or by mails, you can connect with your loved ones, and you can cherish all the moments which you wanted to share with your friends and family, even if you are staying apart from them. So I would say the best farewell was, it was never a farewell, but still saying goodbye to my hostel friends was the one of the farewell that was the toughest one. Thank you. Thank you, Haritika.
Thank you, Gaurav. Farewell, my college farewell is also like, I also miss my college friends, and so on, it keeps on going. So next we have our newest member, Paramita. Would you like to take the next topic?
Yes.
Okay. Paramita, the farewell you are happy about. The farewell you are happy about, Paramita.
So the farewell which I am happy about is when I was in my first company. So I don't really know whether it is going to tell in front of open forum, but still, when you left the company, you might be feel sad that you are associated with your colleagues and all so many years, and then you are moving and starting a new journey. But for my first company, I still remember when I left the company, I was so happy, because you know that one thing is there, that people leave job not because of the company, but because of a bad boss. And I was tortured every day. Every morning, it was a panic that I has to face that person. And it was like kind of a nightmare for me that I have to sit in the morning meeting, and any point of time he can drag a topic to insult. And it was not with me. There are other person as well who face the same thing. So we three people, we decided and we resigned at the same day, and it was a greatest joy on that day. And I know I didn't have any job that day, but mentally I was so pissed. So it was a greatest farewell to me. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Paramita. But I think in every office it happens. I used to think that I am happy that I left my job, but now I miss them. Okay, next we have Madhav. Would you like to take the topic?
Sure,
I wanted
Ritika,
to,
sure.
but then I don't feel like it. I will give it to somebody on the road.
Yes, Ritika.
Madhav, the person you admire the most in Toastmasters. The person you admire the most in Toastmasters, Madhav.
The person that I admire the most in Toastmasters, it is really a tough one. But I would go with the person whom I respect the most in Toastmasters, which is Rupinder sir, obviously. I remember when I first joined Toastmasters meeting, and it was Rupinder sir was TMOD in that meeting, and I just came. I thought that it is a platform where everyone comes and everyone try giving speeches, everything and everything. I thought that Rupinder sir is also a newbie, so before he started, I said all the best. I regret that all the best till today, but one of the reason I admire and I respect Rupinder sir so much is he is so busy. I think he must be very busy, but still every time I message him to ask something, even if he doesn't reply, he calls back. And I also, and I being a member of EC, I may not get time to do things, but still I remember my when I was associate VP PR with like Anshuman VPP. Anshuman was VPP at that time, and I really feel bad seeing Anshuman going. But I felt really Rupinder sir helped me a lot when during my tenure as associate VP PR. And from that time till today, anything happens, Rupinder sir is there. Rupinder sir is always there to guide us with any role, with anything. Obviously, my mentor is the second person, Anand, Gayatri. There are many people over here in our club that we can look up to, we can admire, we can respect. But Rupinder sir is the, what do I say? But he is the best person. Thank you. Over to you, Haritika.
Thank you, Madhav. Rupinder
I can
sir,
see
I
Rupinder
also
sir.
admire you. And now, Jim, would you like to take the next topic?
Yes. How's the mic? Is it okay? Can you hear?
Okay, Jim, a prank played on you by someone. A prank played on you by someone, Jim.
It was just a few short years ago. My mentee said to me, Jim, you know everything about everything, but I want to make my own mistake. This was from the club president. She was the president after me. I was the IPP. And I thought at that time, okay, young girl, yeah, I understand. And then it suddenly dawned on me that there is no hope in this world. When young people want to make their own mistakes, that's why we don't improve. You know, my sons, they don't listen to me. They don't want to hear what I have to say. They don't want to hear all the experiences of failure so they can avoid the same mistake. And I thought this was a prank. I thought she was having a go. But her words resonated, banged about in my brain for a full 2 years before I realized the truth of it. That the mentor's job stops after a while when the mentee progresses, and they must find their own way, their own style. And I realize this now. So I have a new way of being with my mentees. And I have quite a large number of mentees in different parts of the world now. And we get on much better, and they are growing much faster than I could ever hope for. So let people make their own mistakes. It's not a prank. It's the way life goes. Back to you, Toastmaster.
Thank you, Jim. Indeed, I agree. So next we have Abhishek. Would you like to take the topic? Yes. Abhishek Deoraj, if you could pull a prank on someone from Toastmasters, who and why? If you could pull a prank on someone from Toastmasters, who and why? Toastmaster Abhishek Deoraj.
Well, I don't have to. Am I audible? So, my first call would be you, TTM, because I know you would be a great target and we would all have a laugh. We might even end up having a gag reel made of all the possible ways. But then again, you're too far off to actually have all the physical pranks because I'm more of a physical prankster rather than, a situational, long, drawn out cons like Ocean 11. I'm more of a physical prankster. So, whom I would search for? Maybe I would search for my VPPR, not who's not as good as Madhav or, Soumya, but she's a small kid, very energetic, and you tell her, this post is not visible. What? My post? Not visible? Where? Where? Let me go. Shit! And imagine what happens in the moment it is here. Because she's a kid. And those makes the best pranks. A prank is best done on someone who cannot imagine, or even better, someone who trusts you. Now, yes, the previous speaker of mine says that youngsters shouldn't make mistakes and that's how they learn. And that's how his mentees learn and they are growing. I let my mentees, I throw them in the boiling oil. I throw my mentees into the pranks. And that's how they learn not to trust their mentor full on. And that's how they learn that, yes, elders are saying something, but it's better to use our own brain, check, verify, and learn. So, Table Topic Master, my target for any prank would be someone from my own home club, my VPPR Astha or my VP Ed Simran Sharma, trusting girls who think Abhishek Devraj can never pull a prank and they would be in for a game. Thank you. Over to you.
Thank you, Toastmaster Abhishek Deoraj. I'm glad I'm not there, okay? So next we have Julia. Would you like to take the next topic? I don't think she's here. We have Zoe.
Zoe, can you hear us?
Zoe's on the street. Julia's here. She just sent me a message.
Hello, guys. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
I'm really sorry. I am kind of outside because maybe next time. Thank you very much.
We have Umang.
Is Julia available for a topic?
Hello.
Okay.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. Are you available for the topic?
Hello, sorry. I just give a call. So it's my turn, right?
Yes.
Okay, so my topic is what?
Julia, one thing you miss about a physical meeting. One thing you miss about a physical meeting, Julia.
Okay, one thing I'm very...
You miss about...
Okay, can you repeat again?
One thing you miss about a physical meeting. I'm writing in the chat.
Okay, so about just like in this year, I think that I have a change that is I join different kinds of activities. So that means I'm seldom join in Toastmasters meeting. But in Toastmaster meeting, one thing I'm very missing that is table topic section, because in that in this table topic section, I need to practice my brainstorms skills, and I need to speak very fast and need to learn and think very fast in this section. So I think it's a very good in practice to make my job better and better, because just like some speakers, they share how to find a job or how to make the interview better in their real life. So I think it's very good. Another thing that is about the table topic that is improve my speaking skills in my real life. Just like if I want to make the apply for a new target or apply for the project in my work, I will practice more. And just like in the table topic section, how to encourage me to apply for a new position, a new change, to learn or apply for new things in Toastmasters and practice more. And just like to apply new officer term in the table topic in the Toastmasters stage. So I think the one thing I'm very missing in the Toastmasters meeting, that is table topic. Yeah, back to Toastmasters, table topic masters.
Thank you for sharing that. Though I have never been in any physical meeting, but I am looking forward to one. And now we have Toastmaster Sachin Kaushik. Would you like to
Yes.
take? Yes.
Yes, definitely. Am I audible?
Yes, you are audible and visible. Toastmaster Sachin Kaushik, which one would you pick? Marriage or Toastmasters? Which one would you pick? Marriage or Toastmasters? Toastmaster Sachin Kaushik.
Marriage or Toastmaster? These both are two different things. And I must say, marriage is an institution which is a must for a human being. It's not only important for just increasing our generation, but it helps a person how to collaborate with a person of opposite sex. It helps us to know what are the problems they face with each other. It not only helps us in our bad times, but in good times also, to know each other. And in our adverse situation, adverse time, wife is for me, wife is the person next after my parents who can listen to me and can understand me and can help me in coming out of the problems. The same goes for her from my side. Coming to Toastmaster. Toastmaster is a platform where you can develop your skills of speaking. Right from my childhood, I used to think speaking, this is not my cup of tea and not at all interesting thing, because this is for leaders. Neta hi to bhashan dete hain. Only leaders give speeches. Later on, I realized that speaking helps us to come out of our own personality. It helps us to tell and explain others that what we think, and help us in different aspects, like having a good personality, confidence. Thus, I say both are important and have their own importance. Over to you. Thank you.
Thank you, Toastmaster Sachin. So, do we have time for more?
Yes, you can have one more speaker.
Okay. So, is there anyone who would like to take the next?
May I?
Okay, yes, sure, for sure. So, Anant, do you think you will always celebrate April Fool? Do you think you will always celebrate April Fools, Anant?
Well, I have never celebrated April Fool, to be honest, so far. The reason being, after March 31st, who does have the time and energy left to celebrate anything on the next day? But this year I am celebrating something new. A lot of times it happens that after December 31st, on 1st of January, we make New Year resolutions. How often do we make New Year resolutions on 1st of April? We just pass off this day as another April Fool's Day, a useless day. New Year resolutions is what I would like to celebrate about this day. Because it's not just a financial new year, at least in our country or the region, it is also a new term beginning in Toastmasters. And this year, my New Year resolution is to attend the meetings efficiently, even playing partially the role of tech master, delivering a session, etc., with my little animal along with me. So if I can do this level of multitasking, that will be a good enough reason not to give any excuses the next time ever that, hey, I am busy, I'm not having this thing, that thing, I can't. I have made my resolution completed for the last term that I have attended every single Thursday meeting, come what may. And this time I'm making a new resolution today that I will attend most of the meetings this term, not just alone, but with a +1. Well, that's about my resolution for this term. And that is what I would want to celebrate this day about, not maybe necessarily a Fool's Day. You can call me a fool already taking this resolution. So if that qualifies, that's it. Over to you, Haritika.
Thank you, Anand. Your little one is always welcome with love. And we have a lot to learn from you that we can always celebrate it. It's not as as a full day. And that's all from my side. Over to you, Toastmaster of the day.
Thank you, Haritika, for those very relevant or irrelevant topics. And so Techmaster requests us to present the poll for the best table topic speaker.
Launched.
I hope all of us have voted. All right, moving on. Our general evaluator reminds me of the Hindi version of the Dead Poets Society, Mohabbatein. Amitabh Bachchan from Mohabbatein, where he mentioned Pratishtha, Parampara, Anushasan, prestige, discipline, and traditions. So I think I'm not translating in the right fashion, but definitely I think distinguished Toastmaster Rupinder Singh, for him, tradition, discipline, and which is the third one? Please help me out. Yes, prestige. Definitely, it's one of the signages he stands by, the symbols he stands by for Turning Point Toastmaster, and that's a culture he has built as a super mentor that he is. I'd like to invite him on the stage to take forward the evaluation section as the general one. Over to
you. So, prestige, tradition, discipline. These are the cornerstones of Turning Point Toastmasters. And no Shah Rukh Khan is going to convince me otherwise. Thank you very much for being a part of this evaluation session. I promise I will try to make it as fun as possible. You saw me laugh a lot today, so great. And I hope the laughter will continue as I call on stage my first evaluator, our international speech contest second place contestant at the division level, Toastmaster Soumya.
First of all, I'd like to congratulate Arunima for taking this first courageous step in the plethora of speeches she is going to deliver in the future. So congratulations, Arunima. I'll start off with my favorite aspect of the speech, which was the honesty. The speech for not 1 second felt like cosmetic or made up. It was this honest memoir of her journey, her experiences. And that was my favorite part of the speech. And that also fulfilled her speech objective, which was to introduce the audience about herself. And I and other TPTMers perhaps know more about you from your icebreaker. The second part, which I liked, was the introduction in the ending. The introduction was a solid quote, and you delivered it with confidence and hand gestures that experiences soothe the soul more than any of the materialistic things can do. So the opening was very well delivered, along with the ending, wherein you reiterated how experiences matter more and how future beholds more such experiences. So solid opening and ending. And the third aspect which I liked was that your icebreaker did not feel like an icebreaker. You were confident, you were clear, and you were able to deliver your thoughts in a concise manner. So confidence is a key in public speaking, and you already possess that, and you need to just build on that. Speaking of building on things, I'd now like to recommend a few enhancements. First off, it's a very small thing, and it is something that we sometimes struggle with, is to keep the camera on the shoulder level and not having to look down at the camera. So that is something maybe you can adjust in your future appearances. The second aspect was about the speech structure. Two very experienced Toastmasters have recommended me this approach. Tell them what you're going to tell them what you are, the content and the conclusion. That is, introduce what you're going to tell them, give your content, preferably in 3 very structured, demarcated with transitions part, and then conclude with what you just told them. So you also had 3 kind of parts to your speech, but they were intertwined, like a personal, professional, and educational experiences, so you can structure it better. And the last aspect was about the flow of sentences. Sometimes you tend to say a sentence like, I feel that life is short and I have more to explore. You break down the sentences in multiple parts. So just to say it better, you can say, I feel life is short and I have a lot to explore. As to summarize, you gave this excellent speech. Just 3 things you can take care of: the camera angle, the speech structure, and the flow of sentences. I look forward to hearing more such travel stories and new experiences in the future. Over to you, General Evaluator.
Thank you very much, Soumya. And with that, I would request our second evaluator, who, if I'm not wrong, is an area contest finalist. Let me call on stage Toastmaster Sonali Kathuria.
When I read the speech objectives, I was not sure how somebody would attempt a speech on this, because it sounded very difficult to think about a process and plan and tell about the execution too much. And then when I heard the topic, because it had travel in it, I was confused how those two are going to be related. But Nikita, I must tell you, that was a very smart way to connect these two all together and deliver a brilliant speech. So congratulations for your attempt on that. You had this base set right from the start. You made the audience comfortable by asking questions, and you knew what you were going to talk about. You gave them you gave us all an introduction about where you're coming from, and you are going to talk about travel, included some examples, followed up by how you do it, and ended it with the same exact thought that you started from the very beginning. The major highlight of entire speech for me were those 3 levels that you categorized into funny names. those were definitely the major highlight, and I could see people laughing and chit-chatting around those as well. A small note there that could have helped you was if you would have either translated those notes because they were in Hindi for the benefit of non-Hindi speaking audience, or you could have come up with an altogether new categories that were in English, probably using the same funny tone and idea. I also really liked how you mentioned about one such trip, Ranthambore, talked about it and explained how it was a great trip for your members and people who actually visited. The thing that could have helped there uh, would be if you could have mentioned specifics about that trip, specifics about planning that particular trip for Ranthambore. The general planning process that you mentioned felt more generic to any other trip per se. So using that could have added and probably helped the audience here to think about, yes, they are going to Ranthambore as well. Uh, you were very clear in your thought and presentation. I'm always a fan of hearing you and the way you frame your sentences. They're crisp and commendable. I saw that you were trying to include some humor elements, and that was a great attempt. The content was perfect, though I feel like the delivery could have been better in giving those humor elements. Maybe exaggerate more, change your tone, or emphasize on your thought there. Just a last pointer that would help you because we were losing you in between. So I lost some of the content right in the middle of your speech. If there is a way for you to track that we are freezing or your video is freezing, maybe take a pause, stop there, and continue when you feel like you're ready to go. Overall, really smart move to talk about this in for this project and justify your objectives. Work on the content and use a different style when to justify a different content style altogether. And to give answer to your question, yes, I would like to travel with you. Over to you.
Thank you. I will take this opportunity to request that the polls for the best evaluator be launched. While I go about evaluating the table topic speakers, starting with Roli Sinha, your favorite mentor in Toastmasters. And I could not help but notice that when Roli was talking about Cheyenne, I knew that this was going to be an emotional speech, and it was such an emotional roller coaster. Roli, absolutely loved the way you brought Cheyenne to life. I'm pretty sure there are people in this room who want to know who Cheyenne is. One piece of feedback, maybe one funny incident about Cheyenne would have been nice. I remember the meeting at DOTM where Cheyenne did an impromptu roast of everyone in the room. That was sheer genius. Probably that was one incident. Moving on to Gaurav Singla, the farewell that made you cry. I liked how you introduced and the walkthrough of the college life. I love the fact that you made it to the red card and it looked like the conscious effort, and that you had a summary. What I would have, what I would have liked in your speech is an example of what you would have missed. Maybe the horrible food in the cafeteria, maybe the bed bugs. So that would have helped us relate it more. Paramita, the farewell you are happy about. Paramita, I have heard you speak in the previous weeks, and I have only one question, only one question. Where was this energy all this while? I want you to remember this energy because this is what you need to bring to your speeches. In every speech, I want to see this energy from you. Great passion. There's an excellent point that you made that people don't leave jobs, they leave bosses, and that is where I have an observation. While it is a generally accepted notion that people don't leave jobs, they leave bosses, I've worked for job portals, and I will tell you there are many other reasons that supersede that. It is just that people at a junior level they leave bosses. At a senior level, there are many other reasons to leave. Madhav, the person you admire the most in Toastmasters. Well, obviously, it was a very good take considering that I was writing feedback for you. Thank you for letting people know that I call back. So you've heard Madhav of all people that I call back. My suggestion would be invert the topic. Say not one person. I like multiple people. I like Anand for this. I like Gayatri for this. I like Haritika for this. I like Upinder for this. And that would have probably made the topic a little bit better. Jim, a prank played on you by someone. I would say it was storytelling at its very best. It reminded me of that dialogue from the Forbidden Kingdom where it says that the master and the student walk side by side, sharing their fate until they go the separate ways. And the person says, I'll never forget you. And he says, I guess that is what being immortal truly means. You brought that entire episode to life. So that was amazing, awesome. Make your next table topic better than this one. That is my only feedback to you right now. Abhishek, if you could pull a prank, my post is not visible. Wonderful. Is the that is probably the post, prank that I'll probably pull on my VPPR one day. Do not refer to another speaker in your speech. Julia, one thing you miss about physical meeting. Excellent arguments. Just one small recommendation, and I'm rushing because there's a red card. Interpret the topic whatever way it comes. Do not ask it to be repeated. Make it funny that I did not understand the topic, but here is my take on the topic. And table topic master, you should be more clear in saying your topic out. Make it about them. So that's a learning for you. Sachin Kaushik, marriage or Toastmasters? Wow. uh, I wish I had got that topic because I had so many things to say about it. It was a difficult topic. Maybe you could have combined both of them, but I would say it was very well handled. One thing I would request is do not speak Hindi to people who do not understand. Anant, do you think you will always celebrate April Fool? I have only one commendation. It was nice to see you manage a table topic and a kid. And I have one challenge for you. Try giving a speech that does not incorporate your wife slash your son, because a lot of your speeches feature one or both of them. So that is the challenge for you next time. And that was it for table topics. I will now move on to my auxiliary role players. I would first like to call on stage our grammarian and his plethora of commendations and not a plethora of recommendations.
Good evening, fellow Toastmasters and dear guests. As the grammarian / appointed grammar Nazi for today's meeting, my responsibility has been twofold. First, to pay close attention to the good as well as the not so good use of the language. And second, to provide the word of the day. For today's meeting, that word is plethora. In this meeting, I am really happy to tell you that it has been used 6 times. Rupinder has used it 2 times, Anshuman used it 1 time, Roli used it once, Soumya used it once, and of course, I used it once. Now coming to my report, I'm happy to see that this meeting of Turning Point Toastmasters Club has been celebrated with very astute use of grammar, really. Starting with the absolute plethora of good usage of the language. Toastmaster Unique used the word diligent, which means hardworking. Toastmaster Anshuman used the word verbosity, which means using an excess of words. A mecca for learning, which means a place that is popularly known for something. A mecca is a word that you can use in that manner very well. Another word was pinnacle, which means the highest point of something. Then Toastmaster Rupinder used the word cryptic, which means mysterious or difficult to understand. Toastmaster Arunima used the word voracious, which means aggressive and uncontrollable. Then Nikita used a lot of very good expressions, 2 of which I really liked. One was bag full of excitement, and one was high to touch the sky. Then Toastmaster Anant used the word meticulous, which means with great attention to detail. Roli used the word non-conformist, which means a free thinker or a rebel of sorts. Jim used the expression dawned on me, which means when you realize something. And Abhishek used in for a game, which means you are about to have a lot of excitement. Now, coming to some examples of usage that can be worked upon by us. One of the Toastmasters said, I will name out, which can be better framed as I will call out the name maybe. Being numbers my favorite, numbers being my favorite would probably be better. Take a deep breathe could be better said as take a deep breath. That is grammatically correct. I and my manager. There is a convention which tells you to name the other people that you are referring to before you, and I comes at the end. So you could have said my manager and I, and still sticks to me today can be better said as has stuck with me. So that saves you a lot of words there. That brings me to the end of my report. I would like to congratulate all the participants for using the language with real aplomb today. So cheers, guys, and back to you, General Evaluator.
May I now request that I be unmuted, that I remember to be unmuted. And may I now request Gayatri to please come on stage and deliver her report as the R-counter.
Since the moment I started playing the role of R-counter in Toastmasters meeting, my report usually began with so. But now I'm going to try my best to not use filler words and filler sounds, considering that I'm an R-counter and I suggest everybody to avoid it. I must avoid it too. Talking about today's meeting, most of the speakers were in the green zone, which is a very good thing. A few yellow zones, okay thing, but an alarming number of red zones in our count. And that alarming number of red zone has come from quite a few experienced Toastmasters today. Nevertheless, all the newer members were very, very balanced when it came to our count. But when it came to our count and fumble, what made this entire meeting funny was that it mostly came from the senior most members of the Toastmasters and not the new members. Having said that, here is what I would like to suggest everyone. I would like to start with Anand Katyayani, who also happens to be my mentor now. Are featured an alarming number of times, which was for the first time I saw in your entire speech or presentation. On a very positive note, there is a considerable decrease in the dragged words, which last time was in the red zone. This time it has come in the yellow zone. Another aspect was the frequent use of word that. Not necessarily that it was always out of context, but it was used very frequently. Another speaker who used the word that very freely was Soumya. In a couple of places, it was little out of context. There was like one particular place where the could have been used and it would have been more appropriate than that. Another word that was used a lot of times in today's meeting was because. Gaurav, Julia, Sachin used this particular word a lot of times. It was not necessarily out of context, but it could have been replaced with a few other words as well. Nikita used the word and too much. And Nikita, in your SA performance, you were flawless. When you were talking, when you were delivering your speech over there and featured in a few places where it was slightly out of context in the sense there was this particular place where if was a more appropriate conjunction rather than and. And there is another thing which I have never seen in your speeches before, and that is the dragged word. So it was like you was something it featured quite a few times and it just started featuring. Another point that I would like to point out is the dear friend Roli Sinha. Dragged word is another thing that is coming into your speeches as well. On the R count, you fared really well. In the filler words, you were perfectly fine, barring and, but dragged word is something which I heard for the first time in your speech, and I just thought I would alarm you about that. All in all, it was a wonderful day at our counter's office, and I have also listed fumbles. Fumbles is something which happens usually when we are not sure what we are supposed to talk. Too many thoughts are gathered in our mind. and we are unable to organize it a bit. We could just take a moment, organize it, and then deliver. Arunima, the unintentional pauses that I have counted for you, it is probably because you were speaking each and every sentence so slowly, and as your evaluator pointed out, you broke the sentence in too many parts, which is why in a lot of places it appeared like an unintentional pause or an inappropriate pause rather than a designed pause. And on that note, I would like to close my Counters report. Thank you so much. Back to you, Mr. General Evaluator.
Thank you. And in all of that, you just had one repetition. So congratulations. Yes, there is a God above and he's watching you. And this time the God is me. Now I would like to summon our timer, Unique, to deliver his report.
Thank you, Mr. General Evaluator. I would like to share my screen to share the specifics. So I hope my screen is visible. And so today, most of the speakers were well within the time. Our both speaker Arunima and Nikita finished in the yellow zone, so that's always a good thing. And Toastmaster Anant during his session went 2 minutes and 10 seconds over his allocated time of 10 minutes. But just a point here that his session completed in 8 minutes and 30 seconds. Rest were the Q&A session. So maybe you can accommodate that time in your 10 minutes next time for the next time. And for the table topic speakers, everybody is within the qualified time. Toastmaster Gaurav and Toastmaster Sachin Kaushik actually went beyond the 2 minutes, which is not a disqualification. You can speak up to 230 minutes. They fully utilized their allocated time. Rest all the speakers finish in the yellow zone. So no disqualifications or anything there. Next, our evaluators. So both our evaluators were within the time. So actually, here should Soumya was in the yellow zone actually. That is by mistake. So sorry, 3:30. This time is 3:30. So Soumya took 3 minutes 30 seconds. Sonali took 3 minutes 22 seconds, and Rupinder, while evaluating the table topics, took 4 minutes 53 seconds, which was about 1 minute 50 seconds more than the allocated time. So maybe that is something we can work on. And Toastmaster Gayatri took 4 minutes and 2 seconds, which was about 2 minutes over her allocated time. And Toastmaster Shaurya finished in the yellow zone itself. So with that, I would like to conclude the timer report and hand over the stage back to our.
Thank you, Mr. Timer. Please time me for another 3 to 5 minutes. As I talk about the overall meeting report, I will be sharing my screen as soon as I get to the right window, because I've had experiences of sharing the wrong window, and there are a lot of people in this room who seem to recall that. Okay, here we go. Share screen. Let me just share. Hang on. Where am I going? I'm supposed to be sharing screen too. Okay, I hope you're all able to look at the screen too. You have to minimize a few. So this is the overall graph as to how we are doing. A lot of threes, and the lowest score is 2, but table topic speakers always tend to score around 2 only. So 2 is a very good score for table topics speakers. Specific feedback, if I was supposed to go back, if I go back to specific feedback, let me stop the share over here. If I go to specific feedback or to the various roles, I have nothing but praise for our sergeant at arms for starting the meeting on time, setting the room up properly, greeting the guests, and getting the club mission statement right. I don't know how people are not able to get that right. I've seen experienced Toastmasters not get it right. And yet here we have a Toastmaster who's not that new into the system, gets it right every time. Great job. The housekeeping rules were properly read. When it comes to the tech masters, I have nothing but praise again. I have just one recommendation Before that, what they got right was that they muted everyone prior to meeting start, and that the meeting recording was started on time. Members were muted and unmuted responsibly. Uh, One thing that I would request, and that is not just on the tech master, but also on the individual role players, the TMOD, the TTM, and the general evaluator, to ensure a smart audio video check. Myself, I stand guilty of that. The presiding officer had an inspirational opening, and it's easy to have an inspirational opening when you're the president of Turning Point Toastmasters, because every week is bringing a new achievement, and these are exciting times to be a member of Turning Point Toastmasters. I liked how the dignitaries were recognized. We had two senior people visit in the middle of the meeting, and I liked how they were recognized. I'm also happy about the way the guests were recognized and the way that Toastmaster of the Day was was introduced. Now, about the Toastmaster of the Day, once again, let me give you the hint that he works for Google. Hopefully, he's able to get the hint and he will explain it in due time. The theme of the day was very well chosen. The meeting structure was explained properly. I like the energy and the enthusiasm. I like the fact that he did not forget to ask the audience to write feedback after every speech. The table topics master, I think the table topic section was probably one of the best I have seen. It was properly explained. The topics were appropriate to guests and Toastmasters. Guests were invited to participate, and preference was given to audience members who did not get a chance to speak. Uh, when I come to my speech evaluators, again, a perfect performance. Okay, I was about to give us full marks on meeting disturbances, but I'll come back to that later. Speech objectives were read out properly by both these evaluators. They were aware of the project details. The tone was positive and encouraging, both in the case of both the evaluators, and how to improve suggestions were provided. Excellent job done. I have a special recognition for my tag team. I'm glad that as a meeting host, a co-host, I do not get the right to choose, because I would not have known who is the best tag team role player. And on that note, if you've not launched the polls for the best tag team role player, let's launch them now. Coming to the meeting overall, I would say that we started dot on time. The speeches did not feature offensive language at all. The props were properly arranged. The applause of the energy and the energy of the meeting was in general quite high. I was delighted to know there was no backouts from the assigned role, and it showed in the quality of the meeting today. And I like the way how the meeting was conducted in a very professional manner. Some of feedback opportunities. Some people unmuted unnecessarily in the middle of the meeting. Let's not do that next time. And I could comment on the fact that there were chat messages that were going around, but they were very supportive chat messages. So I guess I'm kind of going to overlook that. Uh, One comment that I have is about Toastmaster and Toastmasters, and I never get tired of saying this, and I will never get tired of saying this. Toastmasters is the organization you work for. Toastmaster refers to a singular Toastmaster. And many times I saw that one was getting used in the place of the other. On a humorous note, I really applaud the courage of our Toastmaster of the day, who thought that of all people, I was going to stand. You should understand the effort it takes for me to sit down in my seat. And expecting me to stand is again an effort, and effort is something that I'm not willing to make. But overall, a wonderful meeting. Uh, One piece of feedback before I forget: let us not speak Hindi, or let us be considerate enough to translate and translate whatever we say in a foreign language for our guests to understand. Today it was not much, but I remembered my last meeting which was all about food, and I was translating furiously, translating each and every food item to our foreign guests. So let's not get to that situation. Let's try avoiding Hindi altogether. But a wonderful meeting. And Anshuman, I will not say I'll miss you, I'll just say that you work for Google. With that, I hand it back to you.
Thanks a lot, distinguished Toastmaster Rupinder. And before I bid adieu, I'd like to have a few words, good words about the peers, members who have supported me throughout this journey. First of all, Anand, I think what comes to my mind is like tremendous attention to detail. I think that is unparalleled level of, I think that requires a lot of energy and care to bring that level of attention to detail. So thank you for that. Soumya, silent warrior during the PR journey. I think I used to get a lot of credit for a lot of things, but I always made sure that I highlight the fact that you have been contributing so much in parallel. You never took the credit. But, yeah, I'll say silent warrior. Nikita, full of energy, bubbly, smart, and like, great to have you as TPT member. Unique, I think my first VP membership. I remember, I think the care and warmth and sincerity with which you welcomed me during those days has stayed till date, because that was my first impression with a unique name for sure. So definitely, and I think till date it continues and shows by the fact that you become the president of the club. So definitely, Shaurya, I think yeah, we have shared a few. Like I know, like post marriage, I haven't been that available as say earlier, but yeah, the conversations we have had earlier, I always felt that you have an amazing voice, amazing level of confidence while speaking. However, yes, I've always wondered to what level you can reach. So definitely the sincerity which you bring to the club, amazing. Haritika, always have met virtually. Definitely always smiling, full of heart, bubbly, a great peer to be. Gayatri, hi. Yes, Gayatri, very passionate, very persistent, very adventurous in terms of exploring the world while being part of Toastmasters. So I think you bring a lot of going out of the comfort zone in this field has been quite easy for you, and that is reflected in your personal journey also, where you ventured into unknown territories of the jungle. And similarly, I think Toastmasters jungle you've been navigating quite well. So definitely amazing to have you. I hope I haven't missed anyone who's part of this meeting. Last but not the least, I'll also like to mention Roli ma'am. I think when we try to launch the new club careers, I think the wisdom, calmness, uh, and the guidance she brought to that group and all of us regularly has been so wonderful. So yeah, thank you. If I missed anyone, apologies. I think Sonali, Rupinder have already complimented so much. And I like to bid farewell by quoting Shakespeare, who once said that if you have to plan for April Fool's Day, you should plan a week before. And definitely, I'd like to thank everyone who's been party to helping me plan out this April Fools. I am still around, and I'll still be troubling you. But just to bid farewell was a very interesting phenomena, because like just planning for the week before, just going on the board. I knew some people knew, some people didn't. And that was interesting to take this entire week's journey. It has been wonderful being your Toastmaster today, and I wish you a happy April Fool's Day. Over to you, Presiding Officer.
Thank you, Toastmaster Anshuman, for that good news at the end. And I would definitely like to know who all knew and did not tell me. So, but anyways, it's nice that that was a joke on your part, and a wonderful job as a team mod. And please let's have a vote for the best role player now for the team mod, KTM and GE. Techmaster, could you please launch the polls? Sure. And meanwhile, we are having the polls. I would request Toastmaster, distinguished Toastmaster Rupinder, to please prepare the certificate for the winners. Meanwhile, I'll have, and let me know whenever they are ready. And meanwhile, we would like to have the feedback from our guests today. Could we start with Zoe, our guest Zoe? Zoe, could you please unmute yourself and share your feedback for the meeting and how we can improve?
Zoe,
I
you're
think
on.
Zoe, you're on mute.
Well, thank you again for calling me. I'm just outside, so it's you might not listen to me clearly. But basically, it's my first time to join your Toastmasters Club online meeting. Really amazing. And as I have sent the message in the chat box to our TPM, I will join your meeting next time indoor with the computer and the camera on, and then join the tabletop session. Hopefully, I have learned a lot from each of you, and really that has inspired me a lot. Because before this meeting, I just visited many clubs in mainland China, so in Beijing, Shanghai, Shenzhen, Guangzhou. It's really a wonderful chance to connect with Toastmasters internationally. It's really like international organization. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Zoe, and hopefully next time you get the opportunity to participate in the table topics as well. And I am just sending a few details over the chat. So there is a link to join our WhatsApp chat, and there are a few contact details which you can reach out to someone if in case you need any, in case you have any queries. And next, I would like to get the view of our regular guest, Toastmaster Abhishek Devraj, who is joining us after a while though. So Abhishek, any feedback for us?
Guys, thanks Unique for inviting me on the stage. However, I'm ill-fitted to give any kind of an feedback today because I was dropping in and out of the meeting today due to office calls. But overall, yes, feels good to be back. And I genuinely hope that as long as online meetings are going on, I keep coming and troubling you all. And yeah, it was nice, Anshuman, but I was kind of given away considering your pathway is engaging humor. So I knew you would be doing something. And with Anand also doing engaging humor and you evaluating him once upon a time, I knew both of you are up to something. So yeah, over to you, Unique. Thank you.
Kudos to you for connecting the dots. I definitely was not able to do so. But anyways, let's move on to the next guest. Toastmaster Jim, could you please unmute yourself and share your feedback?
Yeah. So I've been feeling quite ill recently, and this has been the perfect thing. What the doctor didn't order, but what I prescribed for myself to come onto the meeting. And it came at just the perfect time, because even up to yesterday, I was feeling very off. And it's always great to be with family, and that's the feel I get from this club, family. Back to you.
Thank you, Toastmaster Jim, for those encouraging words, and I hope you get well soon and join us next time fit and healthy. And let's move on to our last guest, Toastmaster Sachin Kaushik. Sachin, could you unmute yourself and share your feedback?
Hello, am I audible?
Yes, you are audible.
Yes, I'm sorry, I'm right now outside. And I would like to say, I would like to congratulate you for conducting this meeting. This was I felt very good. It was fun. And the most interesting part which I found is the evaluation of table topics. Generally, I visit other club also, where they don't do evaluation for table topics. So thank you for this. and I would like to join again next week. Thank you.
Thank you, Toastmaster Sachin. You are always welcome to join. So now I would like to hand over the stage for the announcement of winners to our general editor for the day and distinguished Toastmaster Rupinder Singh.
Thank you, Mr. President, and thank you, Master, for allowing me to. Oh, I'm still. Am I audible?
Yes, you're audible.
So once again,
Yes, you
the
are.
automatic certificate generator. We have prizes for the top 3 table topic speakers, and then the other role players. Let's start with the top 3 table topic speakers. I have challenged this person, the person coming in at third, not to have a speech featuring his wife or his son. A bit selfish on my part because I want to win the best table topic speaker next time. But many congratulations for now, Anant Kathiai. Great job done there. For the second person who came second in table topics, I had to make zero effort since he was the person who came second last week as well, and I copy paste values and then replace them. So the person who did not give me any trouble, thank you so much and many congratulations, Jim Vaughn. To the best table topic speaker, if I was in a table topics contest and if I heard that speech, I would have probably given up the best table topic speaker award if I was getting it. Such was the quality. Many congratulations, Roli Sinha. Now, to the best auxiliary role player, and this role player, not the person, but this role makes me happy every time they win an award. So many congratulations, Gayatri Deshmukh, for doing such a stellar job and that wonderful report as an R counter. Great job done there. The best role player is also the best prankster. He works for Google, and the context is that Google used to come out with an April Fool prank, which is it's not been doing for the last 2 years because of the COVID situation. Instead, it is now focusing on getting rid of fake news. So, Anshuman, you should take a cue, keep up with the times. But many congratulations for getting the best role player award. The best evaluator. We had 2 excellent evaluations today, and like I said before, I'm glad I was not the person who could vote. But only one of them would get the prize unless there was a tie. There wasn't. So many congratulations, Soumya Agarwal. You, dear girl, are on a roll. Great job. And as far as the best speaker is concerned, I love to travel myself. What I don't like to do is tell stories about travel. I'm actually planning a speech in which I call out the people who like to travel and talk about how they like to travel and probably make fun of them. But today I will not, because today the best speaker award was won by a traveler, a wanderlust, if you would give me the permission to call you so. Many congratulations, Nikita Jalan. And now I will go back to my Excel sheet, hit this button, and you will receive your certificates in your respective inboxes. If not, I will get to know and I will assign them manually to you. Thank you very much. Back to you, Mr. Presiding Officer.
Thank you, Toastmaster Rupinder, for taking care of that. And I congratulate all the winners for the stellar performance and all the participants in the meeting. And with that, I would like to bid farewell today to our